Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Some more details on the deserter, the Russian military pilot, the one with the helicopter who deserted and took the helicopter and landed in Ukraine together with two crew members that were liquidated because they refused to cooperate with the Ukrainians. That means they were killed on the spot. And more details about this pilot who was shot down, killed in Spain with about 6 gun wounds. And now we know who did it, according to the Spanish authorities. The investigation concluded it was let's read this article. Agence France Presse. This is from today, February 22nd, 2024. Russia sent hitmen to kill deserter in Spain. Well, deserter is traitor. A deserter, especially in time of war, you're a traitor right there. According to Russians, he is a hero for the other side, obviously, but is a traitor, deserter for the Russian state, for the Russian people. Why? Because that's the way law functions everywhere. It's not only in the Russian law that if you take a helicopter and go to the enemy over there and you planned that, you did it, plus some secrets or whatever information, now you know what the consequences are. Let's say you're an American and do that to the Russians, you go and tell the Russians something. Unless you go to the right countries, you're not going to be punished. It's only one or two that don't get punished. So let's move on. So this is the, I think he's like 33 or something year old guy. So here we have Moscow sent hitmen who gunned down a Russian deserter in Spain last week, 6 months after fleeing to Ukraine in his helicopter, in the Russian Federation's helicopter. It was not his property. El País newspaper reported Thursday, citing intelligence sources. Do you remember how the Ukrainians celebrate when their squads are killing their traitors in Russia? Okay, so let's move on. I just had to mention that in case we're not aware of that. And I'm quoting, the Spanish intelligence services have no doubt that the long arm of the Kremlin was behind the unprecedented crime in Spain, the murder in Alicante of Maxim Kuzminov, the paper said. Well, no doubt. Well, it means they conducted an investigation and they found it. They found the perpetrators, they found who the guys were, right? The victim's body, which was riddled with 6 bullets, was found in February 13th in Villa Joyosa, whatever that is, Villa Joyosa, 12 kilometers 7 miles from the coastal resort of Benidorm. And Spanish media on Monday said his fingerprints identified him as Kuzminov. Kuzminov, 33, we don't know. That's what they say. Maybe that's the way you cover where you're going next. Kuzminov, 33, flew his Mi-6, Mi-8 helicopter into Ukraine on August, saying he opposed Russia's military offensive, with Kiev's GUR military intelligence confirming his death. Okay. Although Russia's SVR, Foreign Intelligence Services, hailed the news on Kuzminov's death, it did not confirm or deny Moscow's involvement. Spanish intelligence sources, quoted by El País, said the only question was whether the operation was carried out by the SVR, the FSB security services, or Russia's GRU intelligence agency. So basically, you don't know who did it. So basically, these idiots, that's all they know. Some people killed this guy. There were some hitmen. And we suppose it was the Russians who sent them. That's all. They don't know if it was SVR, FSB, or GRU. Shouldn't you know? I mean, if you know who the guys are, you should already know what little organization they're part of, or agency. Maybe it was the CIA. I'm just saying. I don't think it was, right? But they admitted it would be very difficult to obtain incriminating evidence. It means you don't have evidence. I mean, the paper, which is known for its connections to circles of power, also quoted diplomatic sources as saying that the incident was very serious and that Spain would respond forcefully if Moscow's involvement was confirmed. Russia's glee over pilot's murder. So, yeah, you will respond forcefully. I wonder if that would have been a Russian killed by the Ukrainians, if he would have also responded forcefully. Yeah. Okay, it says here, a spokesman for the Guardia Civil Police, which is running the investigation, running right now, is running. It's this is present tense continuous. Something that occurs right now. It's in the process, is ongoing. Told Agence France Presse on Thursday that there was no new information on the case, and the Interior Minister refused to comment. So basically, don't fucking know. Again, it's assumptions. I hate when these guys. We were getting to this. Yeah, Navalny was killed by Putin. Evidence? You know. If it works like that, we all would be in prison. All right, let's see here. Let police do their work and carry out the investigation, parroting the government's official line. What am I supposed to do? Run assessments on what? On nothing? Positions? Spanish intelligence officials believe the shooting I believe a pig can fly. That's how much when someone says they believe, bye-bye. Which occurred in an area with a big Russian population. So he should be defended by the Russians. Because if they live in Spain, that means those guys didn't want to go to Russia. So that means they like in Spain. Therefore, he should be protected. So there's no evidence if he would have lived in, I don't know, somewhere else, which I don't know where. So you see how it can be turned? But hey, it works that Russian population. Okay, then all those guys hate Russia since they're overseas. Or at least they left Russia because they didn't like it over there. No? I mean, they're not in Spain because they love Russia and they're in Spain. They want to make money. Why? Or maybe they like freedom in Spain, Spanish flavor of freedom. And was initially thought to be a settling of scores. Was carried out by hitmen who have already left Spain. Okay, Spanish intelligence officials believe, okay, lost me, which the shooting which occurred was carried out by hitmen who have already left Spain. If you believed it and you don't know it, fuck off. After shooting Kuzminov 6 times, they ran him over with his own car and then fled, they say. The car was later found completely burned out in a nearby town. When Kuzminov deserted, there were 2 other Russian servicemen on board his helicopters who were unaware of his plans. They were killed when they tried to flee after the chopper landed in Ukraine. Yeah, they didn't want to cooperate, so they were killed. Is anybody going to say anything about that? According to Kiev's military intelligence services, which said it had spent 6 months planning Kuzminov defections. You see, don't see anything here. They wanted to flee and they killed them. They couldn't apprehend them. Do you think those guys were like, what, Carl Lewis or something? You can't catch them or something? Or, I don't know, Bolt? That's garbage. This guy landed the helicopters in the Ukrainian hands. Those guys said no. They tried to flee and they shot him. Weren't they prisoners? Were they prisoners? Running? Where the fuck were they running? Up to Moscow? I mean, again, that's a crime. I mean, those guys were in Ukraine's hands with those guys around. They tried to run and this guy shoot them. Why, you can't catch them or something? They didn't even say it was a shootout. No, they tried to flee. And this guy shot them. It's a crime. They were prisoners at that point. Or if they're not prisoners, imagine that you do the same thing with the police in the United States of America. Someone sets you up, and then the police goes around, basically the mafia or whatever it is, and try to flee. The police shoot at you? Do you think that's legal? No, they try to run after you. That's what they do. Unless you try to endanger the police officer's life, they don't use deadly force unless they're imbeciles or corrupt or whatever. Police, okay. All right, this traitor and criminal this is what Moscow said, this traitor and criminal became a moral corpse at the very moment when he planned his dirty and terrible crime. Well, he fled. He was a deserter. What do you want me to say? That's treason during a war. I mean, for moral grounds, if you do that, however you do it, okay. But then what do you expect the other guys to say? Yeah, the Russians were like, yeah, we're okay with that, man. Kuzminov, we're okay with that. I mean, for moral grounds, we are just... Because the same thing CIA would do to you. Just let you go if you do the same thing. Imagine someone will do the same thing with, I don't know, a fighter jet. F-35 or whatever. And lands in, North Korea. Do you think that guy would be like, you're Okay, man, it's okay. I'm for moral grounds. I understand that. Morality, ethical reasons. He's going to be a traitor just like that. But if he lands somewhere else in the Middle East, he will be okay. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.